Hello everyone, this is again not another video where I want to do a big silly tee-hee haha introduction. This is actually a second part to my recent Amberlynn Reid video and the resurfacing of the Casey allegations. This video exists as a sort of call to attention to the reality and the depth of Amberlynn Reid's misdeeds and actions, especially as she begins to blow up on TikTok and other social media and continue to push these allegations under the rug. Links for everything, including Mr. Snowflake's channel, socials, and Victims of an Empath series will all be down below, along with my stuff as usual and any sources that I use. This video is going to be in two parts, first beginning with the interview with Mr. Snowflake, along with an analysis of Amberlynn Reid's use of the cycle in these recent videos as a means of deflection for what Mr. Snowflake has brought up and will be continuing to bring up through the Victims of an Empath series, and ultimately, I would imagine, the continuation of Shaped by the Algorithm. Two parts of the video, part one, the interview, and part two, the analysis. So let me get into the interview with Mr. Snowflake right now. So for those of you who don't know, Mr. Snowflake is an excellent video essayist who makes content on sort of controversial internet figures, many of which exist in these sort of lolcow communities, or those who perpetuate harmful messaging online. Mr. Snowflake has covered a multitude of creators from Chris Chan to Hungry Fat Shake, Foodie Beauty, Amberlynn Reid. He's also done videos on the tragedy of life by Jen, as well as the Liver King. Mr. Snowflake's videos exist as these extremely comprehensive and objective deep dives that go through many details that have gotten lost throughout the time on the internet and the sort of history involved with these creators. And a lot of things that many mainstream viewers might miss out on upon entering the world of certain creators at different times in their careers. I highly recommend his videos, and I've actually used them for my own research in the past. And as a silly little fun note as to how we ended up knowing each other in the first place is I'm in the introduction of the Foodie Beauty videos, and that is where we got into contact initially in the first place.
Account has been terminated due to multiple and severe violations of YouTube's policy for nudity and sexual content.
But I wanted to discuss my thoughts on Foodie Beauty's channel getting terminated.
For Foodie Beauty's channel, which has been terminated by YouTube.
Say about this, what can I even say? She is terminated. A lot of people are speculating, can she come back?
So let's get into talking to Mr. Snowflake. Hello, Mr. Snowflake.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, so to begin, I want you to introduce yourself, kind of what you do on the platform, and then what your initial goal was going into like making Amberlynn Reid videos, the lolcow essays, those types of videos.
All right. Yeah, I've got a channel called Mr. Snowflake. I make videos about lolcows mostly. And what was my initial goal? It was to make my friend laugh. It was to make Jimmy laugh. Jimmy Bunker, you'll have seen him in Victims of an Empath and other bits. It was just to make him laugh, because he's really funny and he makes me laugh dead easy. And I have to really work to make him laugh. So I used to have to like draw pictures of people we knew and make them like a caricature to make him laugh. Or I'd write books for him to make him laugh. He likes creative things. So I just made a YouTube channel to make him laugh, and it worked. And then we just kept going. That's
so wholesome. I'll insert a clip of Jimmy Bunker specifically in post, just so people can see if they're not necessarily aware.
So she said it was her father's friends when it wasn't, but then they did later on. I think. I'm confused.
Okay, so can you describe your video creation process a little bit? You don't have to necessarily reveal the secret formula, if you will.
There's no secret formula. I just hope for the best. Get away with it.
Do you just have one of these full of Amber videos?
What's that?
Oh, it's just a giant hard drive that I have in my desk for my old videos.
Oh. No, we'll say for Amber, for the next Victims of an Empath, it's Crystal.
Yeah.
So I'll save every video that's got anything to do with Crystal on Amber's channel. So I think there's like 900 videos, or over 900 now. So I'll put them in a playlist. That'll take hours. And then I'll just spend my life watching videos, taking notes, and then I go a bit mad. And then the script's done, and then I just start editing. It takes a while. It takes a good few weeks of melting my brain, but then it's done.
Yeah, because I can never imagine, right? Because like she makes so much content and has consistently made so much content. It's not of a lot of effort. Because the thing is too, right? When you make like non-tent, her editing is on a phone, clipping out pauses, right? Like that's it. No overlays, text sometimes. It's a little sweet treat if she inserts an old video in, but sometimes she just like holds up her phone, you know, and is like, there it is, you know? So she doesn't really, but then when you're producing content like that, she would do daily uploads. She has like, what, 8 Vlogmases or something, I think?
Yeah. Does she still use a phone?
Sometimes. To edit, yeah, she does. Yeah, she says she edits on the toilet, actually.
Ah.
So, because even if you just do the eight Vlogmases, that's 240 videos ish. But that was assuming she gets through them. But let's say hypothetically that would be 240 alone.
Yeah. There's lots of videos to watch, but not just anybody. Like somebody I'm doing next. I've got a playlist of them. There's like 400 videos there to watch, and then just that's it. Watch all the videos, make notes, keep your fingers crossed, and hope for the best. That's it.
Yep, I love that. I like the I'm just hoping. I just hope
for the best because I don't know how it's going to end up. And every time I upload it, I go, it's a bit rubbish. But then it usually gets a half decent reception. I go, okay, we got away with it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, because I typically have like a narrative goal of some sort, and then I could like let's say this video, I want to talk about like how she's pushed all the Casey stuff under the rug and continues to do this with all of the abuse of her partners. And so that's like my goal. And then the rest of it forms around that to a certain degree, you know?
Normally, well, I was just going to say normally, not with Amber because it's too hard to do now. But normally if I pick somebody new, the goal is to get the viewers to like them. And then usually by the end, hate them. I like that little trick of, I like this. Oh no, he tricked me. But with Amber, it's too hard to do that now because, you know, she's evil. Yeah,
I remember I did one recently on World of T-Shirts and Daniel Larson, which are 2 lol cows. Daniel Larson's like really, really bad, but was also like horribly at home and has schizophrenia, like bipolar type schizophrenia or whatever, and then like a bunch of like super serious mental health conditions. And then people troll him to think he's famous into like his delusions. But like he's also like a predator who consumes like sexually explicit content of kids. But then is also horribly, but you know what I'm saying? Like, and has literally like become homeless and stuff because of people trying to convince him that they're like record producers and that he's famous and that he's this like celebrity.
It's like sounds like Cyrax.
Yeah, well, Chris Chan too to a certain Daniel Larson's in the same like when you talk about like even my comments mention Cyrex and Chris Chan like all the time. Next, I also have your very early, like first 2, I'd say first 2-3 videos, like you're shaped by the algorithm videos, show a sort of like softness and a desire to kind of show how like the lol cow treatment and feeding into the YouTube algorithm can kind of like warp a person, as well as like internet fat phobia and widespread ridicule.
Crystal and Amber seemed very happy together, and Amber seemed to be enjoying living with her and her parents and their chubby dogs and cats. A real little family. Everything was going well. Perhaps a little too well. Amber got a little too comfortable, and she started to do less weigh-in videos. Many people had been watching her to see her either succeed or fail at her weekly or even sometimes daily weigh-in videos. But without them, Amber began to focus more and more on vlogs. Many of her videos were titled Life with Amberlynn, followed by whatever the date was. But the problem Amber had is that she didn't have much of a life to film.
Can you describe your shift in mentality from someone who had sympathy and felt for Amber to someone who ripped up the Baby t-shirt on stream?
Oh, that's a good question. It was Jimmy. Jimmy sent me a list of lol cows, and I picked Amber because every video I watched on her, she was getting loads of hate. So yeah, I watched 10 videos people made about Amber, and I thought she's not that bad. She's made a few mistakes. She's a bit of a train wreck. Oh, why don't I make a series where I can show the bad side and the good side? and eventually, I don't know, maybe turn public perception around and just show that everyone can be a moron. She's no different. She's got some good qualities. But then, the more I watched, the more I was like, oh, there's no good qualities. Okay, what do I do now? I'll just show her being awful. And that's it. But yeah, at first, I half liked her. I was rooting for her because I quite like it when people mess up and they have to come back. Like, I'm a big boxing fan. I really like boxing, and I like it when a fighter I like gets beat, because then I think, oh, how are they going to come back? How are they going to learn from the mistakes? So I like it when somebody comes back. So I'd already heard that she was a bit of a liar, a bit of a train wreck, and I thought, no, it's good. She'll come back. She'll have a good comeback. But that's just awful.
People in general love that sort of redemption arc concept. Yeah. I know, like, with, let's say, like, iDubbbz' old content, he made, like, the content cops, and he would say, like, the N-word on video all the time, and he was, like, a white guy, if you don't, because I figured you don't know necessarily, but now he does, like, the big YouTube boxing matches, and, like, he doesn't make any of that content anymore, and he made, like, an apology video, and a lot of people have that sort of, like, desire to root for redemption in that regard, and want to see people succeed, and that's the thing with Amber all the time. And there was, like I said, we talked earlier about that, like, off camera or whatever, but about that French girl who made the Amberlynn Reid videos. She's like the epitome of that desire, right? And Jamie French too recently made, like, Amber videos, being like, well, why are people picking on, like, that she goes to TJ Maxx too often, or that she, you know, ate shrimp on camera, or because some of this stuff is super stupid, right? Like, if you think about, like, objectively, if you're looking at it from, like, an isolated way, you know? Like, if you watch Shrimpgate, it's just somebody being like, well, why can't I make eating videos if I'm overweight? But then you take into account how she uses, like, sympathy to manipulate people, and she disregarded so many of her audience members in this journey, and she, you know, and she's even used her platform to, like, get partners in a way that's pretty toxic, and a lot of other intricacies, right? But if you just watch the shrimp video, and then let's say you watch, like, Zachary Michael watch the shrimp video, you're like, well, why are you mad about that?
Well, that's it, yeah. At first, when I hadn't watched loads of things about her, I thought, she'll be all right. I assumed, because the start of the channel's in 2013, so I assumed 10 years on, she would have learned, and she'd have that redemption thing, that comeback. But yeah, just the longer I watched them, I was like, oh, it's not going to come, is it? This nice ending.
I kind of feel like she's worse. But maybe it's like the wearing, you know, like when you chip away at something for so long. But I had no idea who she was in 2013 either. I was too busy being in the 8th grade.
That's not what I was doing. Working with Jimmy somewhere in a pub kitchen. But yeah, there's no redemption for her, sadly. I thought that would have been a really interesting story. Everybody hates her, and now everybody loves her. I thought, oh, that's interesting. But
yeah, but the worst part is now she's like, oh, well, if I had a redemption, nobody would watch me. So it's as if it's like a guilt trip.
My fault.
Oh, yes.
I think they would. I still think she'd get a pass from people if she had a redemption.
I do too, actually, genuinely. I think it would be like Trisha Paytas has had that sort of grace given to her recently. But I think if Amber was to, like, she'd have to, like, lose the weight. I think she'd have to make, like, a video being like, Casey, like a lot of the really big stuff, right? So let's say, for example, like saying Destiny's brother had addiction problems on the phone on a live stream. Like, she needs to talk. She needs to hit that one. You know what I mean? And, like, how she treated Beck, like, that's got to come. Like, we need to hear about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there needs to be some sort of comprehensive addressing and explanation for why everything happened in the way that it did. And then if she lost the weight as well, because the weight is it doesn't matter that she's fat at the end of the day. That, like, for most people, that's not the issue. It's just that she uses that as, like, a key in that sort of manipulation, you know? So I think that would unfortunately be a necessary proponent as well, I think.
And you're right. I think if she lost the weight and did a big video saying, I'm sorry for this, I've been a moron for 10 years, I'm really sorry, she'd get the support, but instead she'll just go on TikTok doing whatever she does on TikTok, I don't know. I keep hearing about TikTok things, but I never watch. I've got TikTok, but I don't know how you use it.
She made the first TikTok, I think after your video came out, if not very close to, was her saying her body count reset because of the new year.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Oh, what? A body count reset?
Yeah. To like a Nicki Minaj song. Yeah. I'll send it to you on Twitter DMs. You can take a look at it. It's yeah. I apologize to you in advance. Next question. Why did you specifically start Victims of an Empath as a sub-series? Like, why do you feel like it wasn't covered enough specifically in the Shaped by the Algorithm videos?
Oh, it's because the Shaped by the Algorithm series is a bit jokey and silly. It's got fart jokes in. It's a bit silly. I'm trying to make people laugh. But I keep saying awful stuff. I was like, oh, it's not really covered in the silly Shaped by the Algorithm. So I need to do a spin-off series where it's just the worst stuff she does. And the worst stuff she does is to her partners. So just show that.
Yeah, because I do remember, I remember you also had like I guess it was a swear word counter or something. There was like one video that had a counter. That was one of the older ones. That was from a while ago.
Was it because she says literally a lot. It might have been a literally counter.
I literally discovered you from people commenting on my videos on Foodie Beauty that you clipped me to the intro. They're like, you're in this video. And then but then that's how I started watching them. But then with the Amber ones, I went back to the beginning because like you made the Chantel ones a couple months in. Yeah, it was definitely, yeah, I could see that for sure. Because I remember them being sillier. It's just the tone of them has shifted so much, I think, that you almost forget where they came from to a certain degree.
Yeah, I bet if I watched them back now, I'd be shocked at how nice they are. Whereas now I'm just going, look at this awful thing. Look at this awful thing.
I might actually go back and check, weirdly enough, now that you've mentioned it, because that's a very good point.
I couldn't go back. I'd cringe if I went back and watched it now. I couldn't do it.
Actually, when you look up Amberlynn Reid, like cycle or whatever, I'm on the front page of Google for that. Like my Amberlynn Reid video, like my one on the cycle I made when I still lived in my undergrad apartment. And I'm like, oh, and yeah, I agree with that. I even checked like incognito to see if I'm if it's because of like my algorithm or whatever. No, you look up Amberlynn Reid cycle and this mug is right there. And I'm like, oh no. So I understand that for sure. And so that video was from like almost 2 years ago, which like I'm in my early 20s is a pretty big shift in a lot of things like perception and being articulate and amongst other things. So I can definitely understand, especially when fortunately my opinions haven't changed that much on her. They were never really good to start with, but I can see when you have to face like almost a naivety towards somebody that it's like a bit gut wrenching, you know? I was going to ask too, what did Casey comment to prompt the video interview? Because I tried to find it in your comments, but I couldn't find it because you had pinned your own comment about a copyright issue or something.
I think he commented on the pinned. Oh, did he comment on that one? I can't remember which one. Anyway, he commented saying, I think he just said get in touch, or I want to get in touch with you, something like that. So then I found him on Instagram and then started chatting away. And he's lovely. So nice. I
love that. I love when people are nice in real life. Well, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I know what you mean. But yeah, we're chat now. It's lovely. I've made a friend, internet friend. Yeah.
Or even when it's just people you talk about, right? Because the internet feels like a wall to a certain degree, and then if you're able to like it's like a fourth wall, I guess, almost, you know. And I'm happy that obviously, like, I presume you wouldn't really have gone in and be like, oh, Casey's really, you know. But it's nice to know that he seems authentic, though, you know. Like, if you're willing to like stand up for yourself in that way, stand up for your mother in that way as well, with like the live streams and the videos and keeping everything up too for this long, like clearly you stand for something, which I feel like in that community is something that feels almost a bit like few and far between, you know.
He is. He's genuinely. He's much nicer than I am. He is. He's genuinely lovely.
Excellent. What I was going to ask also is if you think any of the other exes are going to be willing to talk to you.
To talk to me.
Or like, have you attempted to reach out to any of them yet?
No, I wouldn't reach out to any of them. I don't want to. I only
Okay.
did with Casey because he said get in touch. No, I wouldn't get in touch with any of them. And they
Okay.
don't need me anyway. Like Destiny did live streams, didn't she? Where she talked about
Yeah, she did
how
like
horrible it was.
like a whole like
Yeah.
the eras, I guess, for lack of a better term, like by months or whatever.
So yeah, if yeah, none of them need me. If Becky wants to come out and talk about it, she doesn't need me. Destiny didn't need me. Crystal, I'm not needed for that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to anyway. I think I'm done with the Casey interview. Was good. I'm glad I did it. I don't think I'd interview anybody else. No.
Okay. I was just curious just because I wanted to know if you were with that series, if you wanted to almost use it as a vehicle for them to speak up if they wanted. Mind you, a couple of them do have platforms. That is true.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say if any of them got in touch and said, "I want to share my story. Will you help?"
Yeah.
I guess you can't say no. But I don't know. I don't think I'd like to. They don't, like I said, they don't need me. The internet's there. They can do what Destiny did. And they don't need me to. Yeah, but it was nice. I like the Casey one, but no, I don't think I could do another one.
That's okay. That's understandable too. It is a lot of it also creates like an unnecessary pressure maybe and like a bias almost, if that makes sense. Like it can shift your goal to a certain degree, you know? In your ideal world, what is the result of these videos? Is there something you want to see happen, like Amber apologizing, or maybe a closure for some people, or anything like that?
Closure, that's a good one. It felt like Casey got some closure, so it was nice. I was part of that. That's nice. That's flattering. The goal originally with the victims of an empath was to put a dent in Amber's channel. Or Amber. I wanted people to see who she is and it have some sort of an effect. I don't know if it's had any effect. I don't think it has. Who was I watching the other day? I think it was Karina. Was it Karina Kaboom? I think it was Karina Kaboom saying she's on TikTok and she's doing really well on TikTok, and that's because lots of people who watch TikTok don't know who she is really. They just think she's somebody who's got loads of confidence, but they don't know all the stuff she's done. So maybe I'll start making videos for TikTok.
Because my goal too with this is to kind of serve the same purpose, but like your work I could never do. Like I think it's levels beyond my own capacity. So, but I don't have like a girl world audience specifically, if that makes sense. Like yeah. Zachary, Michael, or Alex's Shooks. I have a more general audience, right? Like I'm a commentary channel. I'm not like an Amberlynn Reid commentary channel or an Amberlynn Reid reaction channel. My thing is because she's used social media to get these partners. Destiny, Casey was like Casey. It didn't involve the platform really, you know. But from Becky on, you know what I'm saying? It's been Becky was through Instagram DMs when Amber was getting hate. Wifey was Instagram DMs when Amber was getting hate. The second person she fell in love with or whatever was DMs on Instagram. You know? Yeah, I know. That one's wild anyway. But it seems like the last, let's say, what Becky was 2017. So it's like you think about like how long that actually is. Because 2017 to a certain degree doesn't feel like that long ago. But it's 7 years ago. So for 7 years, Amberlynn has been getting like Instagram DM partners via the social media platform that she has.
Yeah. I mean, well, where else is she going to meet somebody? The park?
Yeah, but your fan base shouldn't be your dating pool, though, either.
True. Well, I mean, maybe it stopped working now because she's still single, isn't she? Isn't she?
Yeah. She says she's been talking to a couple girls. She got ghosted or something.
She got what? Ghosted? All right.
Like a month ago or something. I know, because I don't do like I don't do videos on her past as much, right? So I'm very like up to date. Like I said, I watched the video from today already. Like I've already seen it, you know. I have Alex's Shook on like notifications on, so like I know like I'm like right away like because I don't want to have to go back. I think that much because it's boring.
A lot of it's boring. Like I said, like the 900 videos I've got to watch for the next episode. They'll all be boring, but they'll just be snippets of gold. They'll be little...
Yes, I remember from the Crystal era, I clipped a part where she says she cannot do anything without her partners. Like there's a thunderstorm or something, and she's like, Crystal's in another room. And so she has like a very, very like tight grasp codependence with her partners as well. Yeah.
No, I don't see much of that. Well, I don't see anything of the latest stuff. Like I said, I watched Karina Kaboom the other day. But I don't watch much of the latest stuff now.
There's not much going on. What does Jordy say? Season 6 is the driest season so far or something? So
I like Jordy, he's very good.
Oh, you gotta. Oh, I love Jordy.
Sorry, I like Jordy.
Okay, so my final question is, do you have anything you'd want to say to Amber or to the general audience about Amberlynn Reid for those who don't know much about her? So if you had to do like a statement about Amberlynn, kind of, for people who don't know, because not all of my viewers have any idea who this is.
Okay. For the general audience. A bit like the TikTok people who don't know who she is.
Yeah, like people who aren't in the trenches, you know? Like,
not just mine, there's loads of videos about what she's actually like. Watch videos about it and see what she's actually like. See she's not so great. What was the other one, if I had to ask?
Well, so if you even if you had anything to say to Amber, to a certain degree.
Say to Amber. Go f yourself? I don't know. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's not. Yeah, that's. I'm just. You're very soft spoken, so that was an interesting turn of events. But I understand. I understand it too, though, right? Because I also have this. I just express it a bit more. That's sort of like, just like, oh my god.
Sorry if you have to beep that.
No, it's okay. I got it.
That's it. Go f yourself. Sorry, I said it again. Right. I'm done.
It's okay. It's okay. I when I edit, I see the wavelengths. It's easy. It's just like, yeah. So to I guess almost restate, you're essentially saying like people who make commentary on her a lot of the time are not necessarily doing it in bad faith, and it's not because she's fat, like she says. It's that's the reason. It's because there's like a deep history of horrendous evil actions over 10 years.
Yeah, I don't care how fat you are, just don't abuse people.
Or or like animals. There's been like there's Becky's mom. Oh my god. We were talking earlier, I forgot about that too. Jesus Christ. The stuff with Becky's mom.
There's loads of stuff. I've only done that one episode of Victims. And I've got a rough idea for the rest, and it's all horrible.
Yeah, the Crystal one in particular, I'm the most curious about because that was before I checked in. Well, Destiny too, but Destiny's era which is also strange, and that will be an interesting angle too because Destiny's era is romanticized a lot as like, even to a certain degree, like the only partner that Amberlynn really loved on camera. You know what I mean? Like the one that she had the most chemistry with, I guess. But it's like Destiny was like 20, so Destiny was. Because I remember the 21st birthday photo shoot thing. Because Alex the Shook was Destiny's 21st birthday photo shoot outfit for Halloween. Like he dressed up as like.
That's good.
I'll put a picture of that in because like that was just iconic. But anyway, yeah, it's Destiny. I have a particular because like even though Destiny did talk about it all, I think it's still like to see it in real time.
Destiny's a little bit stronger than some of our other partners. Crystal's the one I feel really sorry for because like I was telling you before this, I worked in a special school and there was loads of bullying, and I couldn't stand seeing the bullying then, especially when teachers didn't do anything. So watching Amber bully Crystal because Crystal's not strong enough to say like, get that camera out of your face now. She hasn't got that. She can't do it, so she'll do it in a really soft spoken way, and it's awful. It's just sad. You're just seeing somebody being bullied every video and thinking it's hilarious.
Well, because she was also like a teenager too, or if not teen, like being like 18, 19, I mean teenager, but like still, or if not like 20 years old-ish, right? So it's like you're still very young. And I also worked in schools, and it's like, I agree when you see people get walked over and they can't advocate for themselves, But then especially when it's in such an intimate and like domestic place, and Amber never left her side, right? Like I mentioned that too. Like I had a clip from that when she like couldn't even sit in another room from her when it rained or something. It's like, so every minute she's looming over her, you know?
Well, one of the good things about not working in the school anymore is I don't have to see all the bullying that just nothing gets done about. But now I'm watching the Crystal era, and it's just all bullying. I'm like, oh, I'm back to just watching somebody be a bully and have no consequences.
Yeah, I really felt that with the Becky era, like that same sort of like, you know, you don't have enough, I guess, chutzpah to like fight.
Yeah.
To like, you know, push back on me, right? And it was like the live stream era was the first time anyone saw that sort of pushback. And people were just like, let's go, you know, like finally. But it's something that's so it's hard to watch, I guess.
I was gonna say Becky's similar to Crystal, that she isn't strong enough to go stop that now. But like with Becky, like if Becky had to wipe Amber's ass in the first week, she would have said, get lost. It's not happening. But Amber grinds you down over time. So when Becky's doing it, Becky's thinking, yeah, I have to do this. Whereas in the first week, she would have said, get lost. But she wears you down. And that's what bullies do.
So this is hypothetically, allegedly in Minecraft talk. But like, that's something that I say all the time. People say in Minecraft, like if they want to, like, let's say like, Charlie Gold will say it about Foodie Beauty all the time. She's like, I want to play Minecraft with her, which means like she wants to box. You know what I'm saying? Like she wants to throw hands. But like Minecraft's a video game, so it's not real. You know?
Oh, okay.
So like I'll say like hypothetically, allegedly, but also in Minecraft, so it's like not real. I will cut out this explanation because it's not funny when I got to explain it.
No, I like it. Sorry, I made you explain that.
No, that's okay.
I didn't know you had about it.
But yeah, so there's a hypothetically, allegedly in Minecraft talk about love bomb at the beginning and then grind down the person that they're with. That's a very common tactic. It's something you dissolve like their walls and their barriers, right? And build a trust. And Amberlynn, when she was with Becky, is profoundly wealthy. At least like 10, 15, 20,000 USD a month.
At least 10, yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of money. And then it's like Becky came from humble beginnings, right? And Amber's like, if you hang out with me, I'll let you live the life you wanted to live, like free of manual, painful labor.
Well, everyone's glad that Becky got out, but I'm glad she got out when she did, because watching it back, it looks like she's going to stick around forever. Because it feels like she feels trapped. She has to rely on her with the money. Amber's a whole world. She lives with her. But I'm glad she got out, and it didn't go on much longer. That bit's horrible as well. Yeah, Becky's horrible as well. That era.
I think Becky's mom. Yeah, I think Becky's mom passing away was the climax for that. Like but I also just think Becky seeing what she's really like, where she'd like make TikToks in the car about lesbian porn while she's picking a gravestone.
So insane.
I know.
So
like,
nuts, man. It's so nuts.
Sometimes when I talk to my friends that go outside, I like will tell them things like that objectively. Like I'll explain things objectively just to hear myself say how insane it is. My favorite is CPAP rescue from Foodie Beauty is to explain what happened to somebody. Where it's like, oh, this lady from Gatineau had a drug dealer boyfriend, and then she tried to trap him by leaving stuff at his house. So she called the cops to get her CPAP back, and then they were both streaming against each other at the same time. So then one of them, the guy with the CPAP machine, left his phone on by accident because the lady that stole Foodie Beauty's man was too inept to mute it. So then the Gatineau police come in and they start speaking French with him, and then they're essentially just saying that like they need the CPAP machine, and then. Like, it was all on live stream. So I'll explain that to people sometimes, and it sounds like I need to be, like, you know, seen by some doctors. But, like, it's like, this is what actually happened, you know? So, yeah, I can understand that. Do you have any final closing remarks for the interview portion? You want some subtle plugs or whatever, what have you? Anything you want?
No, just thanks for getting in touch. It's nice to talk to you because I've seen your channel a few times now. It's nice to talk to you.
Yes, you've been very nice too with your little fancy cardigans. It's been very nice too. Or is that not a cardigan? This time it's too dark. But usually you have your little
cardigan.
It is a cardigan. Sorry. Yes, excellent. It's been very nice to get in touch with you too, because like we often, I'll come into like your live streams and stuff and joke around in the chat and stuff. And it's been nice to kind of like attach a sort of person to everything. So this will conclude the interview portion, and I'll move on to my next part of the video. Wave to the people, please. Yay!
Hi, people.
Bye. What a cool interview, and it's really incredible to kind of get the insight around certain actions and how people are and the process in making videos. So now that we move on, we're going to move on to part 2, Amberlynn Reid's use of the cycle. So Amberlynn Reid is not only aware of the existence of the cycle, which I'll go through what the cycle is really quickly again soon, given that she has watched reaction channels, been in Facebook groups and other groups as well, and titled one of her most iconic videos ever, Panera Bread Mukbang, Bar, Whiplash, and New Cycle Begins. For those of you who do not know, that video is the I got 2 chips, but I asked for an apple. That video.
A veggie sandwich. Literally just has veggies. They gave me 2 chips, although I asked for an apple, but that's okay. Oh, they gave me the wrong sandwich. Oh no. Turkey with bacon and cheese. I'm really, really upset right now. I'll try it. This is not a veggie sandwich. Wow. All right. Well, here we go. It's not bad. Bacon. It's very tasty.
This process, being one of the foundations of the sort of girl world community, is something that Amber is, as I mentioned, is hyper aware of, and I think genuinely utilizes specific sections of it at certain times a year in order to attempt to filter out the audiences that will force her into a position where she needs to address things as they come up. So let's summarize the cycle again. It comes in 4 phases. It's on screen right now. Phase 1 is redemption, weight loss plan, RE hashing and trying old weight loss approaches that did not work before. This is what she's doing right now. Clearly. Freshly washed hair, somewhat regular weigh-ins, daily weigh-ins, calendar for daily weigh-ins, claims, new attitude and mindset, new purchases, water bottles, Fitbits, books, etc., the calendar, attempts at physical exercise, we're not there yet, meal prep and planning, again, we're just too early in the cycle to know, we're at the very top of phase 1. Acts as if this is indeed a weight loss channel, and then exercise, cook, shop with me, again, we're not quite there yet. Amberlynn Reid is due to upload again as of recording, so let's see. Live? Oh, yes, new video. Am I going to be on TLC, broke no contact with my ex, and I'm going viral on TikTok vlog. So, and in this video, what do we have? We have the calendar, we have building Legos, we have talking about the ex, and she walks around outside. So that could be perceived perhaps as that physical exercise component. Take that or leave it. I haven't watched this video. I've watched the one before it as of recording this. I'm going to watch this before I finish editing. So that will probably be like sad cat voiceover going through this as well, because I want to see if there's any proponents specific to the cycle that come up in this video that were not in the previous. I watched it after I finished filming this part, and I can confirm there are some pretty big things we need to talk about given her inappropriate interaction with her ex-girlfriend known on the platform as wifey. Next, we have ignorance. Trips to Walmart. That's because she speaks funny in the way that she pronounces things. Target, running errands. Hair begins to look greasy. Car view footage. Music, driving around. That's particularly from when she was with Becky. Going out to eat. Playing test kitchen with the rest of her cast. Again, we don't really have like cast members as much anymore. Mind you, now we have Amberlynn Reid's family, and she did cook for her mom recently. So going out to eat, which she does with her mom a lot. Zero mention of her weight loss goals and plans, which is what she's doing right now. Clickbait titles, also doing that right now. Storytime videos, also kind of doing that right now. Social function with a central focus on eating / restaurant. Christmas parties, going out with mom, bingo, casino. Girlfriend tag, if applicable, no girlfriend right now. Overall, 10+ minutes videos of nothing. Firmly in that right now. Phase 3, indignation. If I didn't mention phase 2 is ignorance. Phase 3, indignation, fast food / junk food mukbang, hair at peak near peak greasiness, addressing the haters / comments. Toward hauls, weight loss goals finally addressed. She has abandoned them. Haters blamed for weight gain, tragedy, her attitude, giving up disease, and actually mentioned something that this is what she's been doing, like even far before the existence of this so-called cycle on YouTube. Mr. Snowflake brings up in Victims of an Empath that Amberlynn Reid blamed Casey for weight gain when she was there. I have binge eating disorder, which she flip-flops on now for, I presume, the easy access of weight loss surgery. Shopping goes into overdrive. I'm just being honest / completely raw / real with you guys. Continuous eating of huge amounts of garbage. And then the fourth part of the cycle is called manipulation. Crying, hair caked with grease and dandruff. I can't do this. I don't know how I let this happen. Misleading titles suggesting accountability. Takes zero accountability. Claims of needing to take some me time. My depression / anxiety eating past mistakes. And I'm so grateful for girlfriend / supporter / YouTube, and then a brief YouTube hiatus. So those are going to be your 4 components of the cycle. So phase 1 of the cycle serves Amberlynn Reid in many ways beyond just attempting to clean up her reputation. I was listening to a Karina Kaboom video, and I'm going to try to find the exact one I watched and tag it down below, where she said that Amberlynn Reid uses every January to get more viewers just so she can have this sort of group of new people that are going on weight loss journeys that feel like they can empathize with her.
Right, so let's talk about Amber's new video. So basically, new year, new her. No, actually, new year, same her. Every single year that she has been successful on YouTube, she pretends that she's going to change. And the only thing that has changed is probably the bank accounts of the people that talk about you.
Yeah.
So basically, she's not going to change. She wants to lose 100 pounds. I hope it happens for you. She wants to do weigh-ins every day and film them and post them on YouTube. Okay. She wants to, you know, be healthier and all that other stuff and post every other day. So I do not comment on any of her food or her weight stuff. I wish you all the best with it, sweetheart. I'm sure that you could be successful at it, and good for you. Okay. I've always said, you know, she could put her mind to it and she could do whatever she wants with it. I wish her all the best. I have one question. This is in the disingenuous department of Amberlynn Reid's sonnets.
Because I think Amberlynn Reid seems to have become very aware that all new audiences are temporary, and I think this becomes specifically in her face when it came up about the French YouTuber, which on my channel I actually have a live stream of me live translating the French Amberlynn Reid video into English because I speak French also. She's from Belgium. I'm from Quebec, so very different French, so please take that with a grain of salt, people who know what they're doing. I'm also not a translator. Anyway, you can see in comments less and less French supporters, and even a little bit of, not necessarily rumors, but statements from the people in the comments that are like turning on her and being like, wait, these actions are a bit strange. And there's always these new phases. There's always like the scandals and moments that come in that will take out a good chunk of viewership that need to be replaced. So for example, blaming Becky for cancer. Another one that's big, obviously, is the Casey stuff. There are so many more. Oh, the bringing up Destiny's, I believe, father's or brother's addiction and the phone call with Destiny last year. That's another big one. And Beck's video, I'm sorry if I'm saying Becky, Beck's video coming out, briefly talking about Amberlynn and the state that they were in upon leaving that relationship with Amber, etc. So there's lots of different instances where she needs to replace that sort of temporary audience. So it's almost like her YouTube presence and likability is like a water bottle with a hole in the bottom, right? And it's slowly going to drain. You need to keep filling it to keep the water bottle full. You know what I mean? That kind of analogy. I completely agree with this, and I think it's actually more sinister than we really know. When we look at the title of the video where Amberlynn addresses the Casey interview, it also contains an aspects from phases 3 and 4. And this was, my opinion, direct setups for phase 1. So those two aspects are, there was a YouTube hiatus, a brief YouTube hiatus after that video, and also the being completely honest / raw / real component of that as well. And it's also the weight loss goals finally addressed. She has abandoned them from phase 3 as well. So there are definitely And because you need the end of the cycle to push into the new part, if that makes sense, right? Because it's a circle. Given how the community is buzzing about the interview, she wanted it buried and only to be saved by a really out there exposure of Foodie Beauty's husband, Salah, and a poop fetish. She's in a position where she would rather fully turn over the audience that she has now than to act morally in any capacity and retain any respect from people that do see her now. And the daily weigh-ins now is just another distraction component where this is a force of like, I'm moving on. It's January. I'm a new me. Stop asking me about this. She would rather reaction channels scoff and focus on minute, silly details of doing the same thing over and over again, that I find that she's weaponizing these very specific things, such as like 100 days of weighing in, daily weigh-ins, tracking the weigh-ins, Legos, all these different things where she's like, reaction channels will pick at these things because this is like the silly stuff that they do. And then nobody will be talking about the important stuff that I've been able to skirt by. And that's why, like, I'm not necessarily like a Girl World member, and this will probably be my last video on this for a long time unless something big happens. It's something that people need to be aware of because Amberlynn finds her girlfriends through social media, finds her girlfriends online. And I hate to bring this up, and I know, and like take this from like just a base, but if Amberlynn was a man, I feel like, and dating like women, like young women or whatever, this would be something of more concern. People talk about how your fans shouldn't be your dating pool all the time. But for some reason, I never see Amberlynn Reid in this conversation. And I think that's something else to consider. So if she's dangerous and she's abusive in these relationships, then why should she have the platform to retain these relationships? It's the same way as like James Charles. It's a different set of abuse as opposed to a minor and older person, right? But instead, it's like she'll essentially like love bomb them and then bring them in and then essentially make them like her full-time caretaker and abuse them when they're not listening to her. So today, Amberlynn Reid put out this video. Am I going to be on TLC, broke no contact with my ex, and going viral on TikTok vlog? Now, there is one huge issue with this video, and I guess you could probably assume it's the broke no contact with my ex part, because given the title, it appears that she's being facetious and also that this interaction would perhaps be consensual. But what the broke no contact with my ex means that despite the various chances it seems that this wifey, Feline, XYZ, whatever person gave her, she violated them and she texted her again anyways, and wifey did not respond, Amberlynn says in the video. And it's interesting because Amberlynn DMs people to manipulate them pretty often. She does this with reaction channels. When Becky started speaking out about what was going on with them, Amberlynn DM'd them. Destiny's been DM'd. A bunch of people have been DM'd. Amberlynn is really big for coming for people in the DMs. Alex's Shook got DM'd by Amber, something very angry and aggressive.
Okay, so let's start off by talking about this message that Amberlynn sent me. I was sitting right here yesterday. This happened yesterday. I think that she sent this message when she was doing the Instagram Q&A, when she was under the influence. I guess Amberlynn was drunk messaging me. Should I be flattered or scared? I'm a little bit worried that her mentality going into this is not that of a person that's sitting down to responsibly have a drink. It just feels like it could be an issue for her because she has said that's what it is. So I am unblocked. Maybe she'll see this video and go ahead and go in there and block me again. This was definitely a drunk decision from our girl. So like I said, I was sitting here and I opened up my Instagram app. I don't check Instagram, not as much as Twitter. Not even every day do I go on the Instagram. And it popped up so quick. I wasn't able to get a screenshot, but I was able to see a little bit of the message. I definitely got the vibe that she was unhappy with me. So what she had to say is that she was watching my most recent video. I think it was the reaction that I did to her vlog when she addressed why wifey wasn't speaking to her anymore. What I said was her getting with that girl right after being with wifey was kind of a manipulation for her to get wifey back. She wanted to make Feline jealous. There's that saying, you don't know what you have till it's gone. The part of the message that I saw from Amber was, why do I always twist her breakup to fit my narrative of her life. That was what she was saying to me. So she wasn't happy. I'm not sure what the rest of the message said. It disappeared very quickly. And when I click on the button on Amber's profile to message her, it's not there anymore. Amber has said the same thing about Karina Kaboom when she was talking to Destiny. Do you guys remember that? But she's a nice lady. No, she twists everything that I say to fit her narrative. I can only go off what she puts out there. If she wants to correct the narrative, we have very much seen manipulation from her, especially when it comes to Becky. She wanted to silence Becky. So
Zachary Michael has mentioned it multiple times that she would be very manipulative in messages. And I think it's something that she uses as a form of like power over people. And I was wondering if I could actually, like, if maybe I was being like a little bit silly, you know, where I was pushing too hard and this isn't really a thing. But then I looked up on and I found it on the National Domestic Violence Hotline, a webpage called Help, My Ex is Harassing Me Online. And it says, breakups are a difficult time for any couple, but they could be an especially difficult and potentially dangerous time for survivors of abusive relationships. Even if you are able to find safety and leave the relationship, the abusive partner can still cause harm from afar in a variety of ways. Technology and social media create new spaces where abuse can take place. This is called digital abuse, and it is just as unacceptable as any other form of abuse. Even if your ex-partner did not exhibit abusive behaviors during the relationship, there is still a possibility that feelings of anger, hurt, sadness, loneliness, or loss of control could lead them to become abusive online. They can hack into emails, send unwanted emails, post messages or pictures on social media, create fake profiles to harass you, people you know. Or if your ex harass you online, there are some ways to handle it, and it just gives you a list to save the images, to take increased steps for privacy, and other such things. And they even talk about and define cyber stalking. If you believe your life is being threatened or if the harassment continues or escalates, you might consider taking legal action. All states have laws against cyber stalking and can seek to help with legal advocate and protective orders or other legal measures if you choose to pursue legal recourse. So it is something that's common and something that shows up pretty often, to the point that there's a whole section of it dedicated on the website. I'm not necessarily saying this is what's happening, but it's sort of a history thing with Amber. I'm going to try to find a clip of a reaction channel talking about Amberlynn in the DMs, and we'll see what I come up with. But regardless, it's something that she's done before. You can believe me if I don't find it, take it with a grain of salt, what have you. But again, the actions just keep getting worse and worse. So I'm going to conclude with that. Don't forget about this because that's what she wants. Thank you, Mr. Snowflake, for joining me. Also, please follow him, the videos. He's really, really close to 100K. Please get him there. I know I'm way smaller than him, but it would be really nice. It only needs like 600 subs off from the time of recording this, I believe. If he's not at 100K already, actually. Links, sources, ways to support the channel, all down below as well. Email to suggest content. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.
Oh, that's a list of Violet used to be your check. Now she in the low gang, and you know she on my team. Those cars ain't yours, man. That shit was just floated, gotten tattooed on your leg, cause she knew you weren't loaded. I act in movies that your fans watch with their babysitters. I thought you were my boy. Yes, I have a baby sister. You're trying to be a model. Should've kept Neil's visor. Go make another video about who's the better kisser.